First known tuberculosis cases in Neanderthals revealed in prehistoric bone analysis. A look at two Neanderthal skeletons reveals that they could get tuberculosis, and it may have contributed to their extinction. Neanderthals living in Central Europe around 35,000 years ago suffered from tuberculosis, TB. A new DNA analysis of their bones revealed. This is the first time this disease has been identified in Neanderthals, raising questions about whether tuberculosis contributed to their extinction. In two research studies published in the journal Tuberculosis in December 2023, one international team of researchers reanalyzed the skeletal remains of two Neanderthals discovered in a cave in Hungary in 1932, and another tested them for Mycobacterium tuberculosis, the bacterium that causes TB. Subalik cave, located in the Buk mountains of northern Hungary, was used for shelter by animals and humans numerous times over the centuries and is considered an extremely important middle-to-date Paleolithic site. Hominin remains found in one of those layers near the entrance were from a female adult and a child of around 3 to 4 years of age. And given the combination of Neanderthal and human features on the skeletons, researchers long assumed that Subalik cave remains represent some of the last Neanderthals in Central Europe. Carbon dating of the remains in early 2023 confirmed that the child died around 33,000 to 34,000 years ago, while the adult died earlier around 37,000 to 38,000 years ago. Already interesting for their comparatively recent dates of death, as Neanderthals went extinct around this time, the bones of Subalik individuals hold additional clues about their lives and possibly about their deaths. Distinct evidence of skeletal infection was found on both Neanderthals, including bony lesions along the spine of the adult and on the interior of the child's skull. These skeletal changes, called lytic lesions, reflect bone loss, which results in holes, and the holes are then filled with new bone, while lytic lesions can occur because of the number of diseases such as cancer. Their location and patterning within the bodies of the Subalik Neanderthals strongly suggest a diagnosis of tuberculosis, said the team led by Georg Pálif of the University of Szeged in Hungary. To test this diagnosis, a research team led by Una Lee of the University of Birmingham, the UK, took samples of bone from the two skeletons and analyzed them for the presence of M. tuberculosis DNA, the TB virus, and both were positive. Additionally, a method called spongigotyping, which is used to identify gene sequences of TB in a sample, backed up the diagnosis for the child, while lipid biomarker analysis, which is useful for characterizing communities of microbes in a sample, also suggests that both Neanderthals had tuberculosis. And as we know, this is contagious. You can't drink from a glass of water, for example, that a person today has tuberculosis. You may catch it. Now, based on both the morphological and observations and biomolecular support, we can conclude that tuberculosis was present in Central Europe during the late Pleistocene, approximately 36 to 39,000 years ago, Palfi and colleagues wrote in one of their new studies. The discovery of tuberculosis in Neanderthals raises the additional question, how did they get it? Evidence of TB in large animals across ancient Europe, particularly in bison, suggests an answer. Neanderthals who were hunting and eating these animals likely contacted TB from the animals. So tuberculosis posed a danger, both through being a direct health risk and disseminating prey animal populations, Lee and colleagues wrote in another new study. Corey Filipek, the paleopathologist at the University of Derby in the UK, who was not involved in the studies, told Life Science in an email that the studies provide an interesting approach, moving beyond the scope of our own species, understandings of the disease, and that the research might provide an avenue of how humans and non-humans behavior enabled these pathogens to become embedded within our own disease landscape. However, Philippek cautioned that comprehensive non-destructive analysis should always be done first, particularly given the rarity of Neanderthal material. Future research along these lines could provide new evidence for diseases that affected Neanderthals, and possibly for the reason they went extinct, according to the research team. Lee, Palfi, and other colleagues concluded that their results support the possibility that TB contributed to the extinction of the Neanderthals, and suggested that the hypothesis should be thoroughly investigated. And this is by Christina Kilgrove on Live Science. Now, I don't know if Neanderthals used to eat, for example, raw meat and they didn't cook the animal meat properly. I don't even know if you cook the meat that has TB, if the TB could still pass on to a human. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support, and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.